Next character on the list is Testament. Now, I can't lie, I do not know much about Testament lore-wise. In fact, I know almost nothing about them. So, not much to say there. One thing that's interesting about Testament is they are androgynous. During songs, and even when they are referred to, they go through a mix of he and she. So, when referring to Testament, I could refer to her like that, and then the next time I referred to him, I'd have to use that pronoun. So, that is pretty interesting about them. I'm just going to say them for now, just to save me the trouble of alternating between he and her. Just for the simplicity of the video. But that is pretty cool about Testament. I don't know if we'll ever get a confirmed gender, or if they're just going to stay androgynous, which would be cool. Nothing wrong with androgynous characters at all, not in the slightest. Either way, Testament is pretty cool. They have a big scythe that can summon goo stuff. I think it's blood. I think in the default it's red, so I think it's a blood scythe. I'm not too sure. That would match Guilty Gear, I think. But Testament is a character I never see online, which is odd, I think. It's weird that I never see Testament, really. I thought they'd be a lot more popular, but they're not. So, why is that? I don't know. To my knowledge, they are a zoning character, but I don't see why you would use them as a zoning character when they seem to be decent at close range. So, once again, I'm not too sure why that classification is made. Granted, I don't play high-level Testaments. I don't play Testament, so I don't know either. So if someone can fill me in on that, that'd be good. Overall, though, for a new player to play Testament, I'd say it's very possible. I'd say Testament is one of the more beginner-friendly DLC characters, as well as I think the next one we're going to check out, Bridget. They're also pretty good. But overall, Testament, I think, is a very good beginner character. They have a lot of options in terms of what they can do. And as I said, you can play long range, you can play close range. Although, as I said, I think they lean a bit more towards close range personally, but that's just how I would play it. But yeah, Testament's capable of a lot, and they do definitely show it. As a new player, I'd actually, if you're going to buy a DLC character, I'd actually recommend Testament pretty highly. Testament's a very good character to use. And I even have fun playing Testament in training and stuff when I'm just dicking around with characters. Other than that, I think that's the end of Testament's bit. So, we'll leave it at that. Next is Bridget, a character I know a good amount of lore for, a character that was very controversial on the internet for a while, a character I would recommend above all else if you're going to buy a DLC character. Let's start with the lore, shall we? Bridget was born a boy in a village where if you were born a twin, you are considered bad luck, and sadly, Bridget being born a twin was, well, I say sadly, she seems to accept her new identity, but just come along with me now. Sadly, she was raised as someone she may not have wanted to be. Maybe if in another timeline where Bridget's twin was raised as the girl, maybe Bridget would enjoy being a man. That's one thing I don't understand, and if you want to, you can educate me on it a little bit. Just do it in a nice way here, because I'm genuinely trying to understand why the LGBT community wants to take Bridget when it seems they were forced into changing genders. I get it. Once again, being represented is good, and maybe that's why. It's just representation sake. So once again, maybe that's the reason. Once again, do let me know. Be nice about it. I'm curious. I want to find out. So if someone could tell me, that'd be great. It just seems she was forced into it. Maybe I heard a different version of the law. I don't know. To my knowledge, that's what the law was. I don't know if it got changed or something like that, but every time I hear Bridget law, that's how it goes, that she was forced to be raised as a girl because of the superstition. I think she's accepted the way she is now, though. I think that's sort of the lines in her song. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out of the way just immediately, just so if need be, someone can tell me why that's the case. Once again, I do think it just comes down to representation and wanting to be represented, which I understand. Anyway, gameplay-wise, Bridget is a very easy character to play, in my opinion. I have fought a lot of Bridgets over my time, and she's one of my favourite matchups because she's very fun to fight against, and I think she's also very fun to play. Yo-Yo Girl is fun. And, what else can I say? For new players, she is very fun. She is a very good character, and as I said in Testament's part, and at the beginning of Bridget's part, Bridget is probably the DLC character I would recommend most for new players. Bridget is a solid character with good buttons, easy to play, fun to play. It'll get you into Guilty Gear, And if there's anyone that I'd recommend out of the cast of DLC characters for a new player, Bridget. All the time. Every time. Bridget is a great character, and she deserves the spot that she has on tier lists, whether it be high or even just above mid, for me anyway, because that's where I think she is. I think she's a very good character. I've seen some very good Bridgets play. Do I see a lot of Bridgets and would like to see more of other characters? Yes, but in the scheme of trying to get new players into Guilty Gear or fighting games in general, recommending them easy characters regardless of whether how much they've played, I believe, is more important. And Bridget is a very good character for people who are getting into fighting games in general, as she will be able to teach you the fundamentals very easily. So I think I lump her, Kai, and Sol all in one group of characters that if you pick up and play, I believe you will do very well. You will learn the fundamentals of the game, and then you can try and branch out if you want to more complex characters such as Potemkin and Chip. Sin Ggst, or Sin Ggst K, is the son of Kai Ggst, or Kai Ggst K, depending on how you want to pronounce their last name. He is one of my favourite characters in all Guilty Gear, but I think that's just because I like the himbo archetype. Probably, if anything, from my previous choices in favourite characters tend to go in games and stuff, I do tend to like the himbo characters a lot, maybe because I relate to their intelligence a little bit. Anyway, Sin is a very fun character to play in Guilty Gear Strive, however he tends to be very low on tier lists because his moves generally are very hard to use. I think Sin's very 50-50, especially for me, because I don't think he's hard to use, but I hear some people say he's very hard to use and he's not a very good character, even though I don't see it. I get fucked up by Sins all the time. He has very good high-low mix-ups, and if used well, he's just a fun character overall. He's a good character. If you've ever seen someone play Guilty Gear and they have maybe a pride flag, or just like maybe they channel banner or something, and they're swinging it around as a weapon, that's Sin Ggst. That is his weapon. He willed the flagpole. I think in Laws, he asked about using a weapon, and Sol basically just told him to swing a flagpole around. He took it literally, and now we have Sin Ggst using a fucking flagpole as a weapon. So that's fun. Reason he wears an eye patch is because when he was a baby, when he was born, since he was a gear, he was very strong, and he couldn't contain his power as a baby, so his father, Kai Ggst, ripped out his eye, took it for himself, and gave him one of his eyes. Pretty fucking metal, I know. But in fairness to Kai, he was probably trying to limit his power so Sin wouldn't accidentally destroy the fucking world or something. So that's cool. Sin was raised by Sol Bad Guy, so they share a lot of the same mannerisms. And one thing I like about Sin is that he just doesn't care. The hourglass won't turn upside down, and he'll get through it no matter what. He's a very optimistic character, and I think a little bit of optimism is something we need, especially nowadays. Optimism is always good, even if it is cautious optimism. Optimism is always good to have, and Sin represents that perfectly. Gameplay-wise, if I was to have another main, as I mentioned in Zato's section a couple parts ago, I would either probably end up maining Zato or Sin, because I love Sin. I've actually been practicing combos on Sin because I think he's that interesting to play. His stamina kind of gets in the way, but it comes back over time. You have no need to eat anything. It just means you'll need to find combos to do that don't involve any of your stamina-consuming moves. Overall, Sin is a character I would 50-50 recommend to new people. Are you willing to micromanage? So similar to Naga, Ryuki, and Happy Chaos, can you micromanage things? And are you willing to learn a character that not many people say is all that good, even though in my opinion Sin is actually really good? If yes, then feel free. Go ahead and main Sin. Sin is a very fun character. I think you'll have a great time. If you think you might struggle with micromanaging, then maybe avoid Sin. As I said, you've got to be more careful with DLC characters, as they tend to be a lot more, they tend to cost money, is sort of where I'm going with this. So just be careful with that. As I said, if you just want to buy every character, then by all means do that. If you can, don't spend money you don't have, for obvious reasons. But yeah, overall, that's my little thing for Sin. I do like Sin. I think he's very cool. And yeah, that's about it on Sin. We talk about survival of the fittest a lot, but all that really means is the skilled live and the unskilled die. Since you're clearly in that second group, maybe you should pick your fights a bit more carefully. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's never going to matter how much you want it when you're up against somebody who can kill you with a sneeze. Sorry, I don't know what came over me just then. Bedman is a pretty interesting character in Guilty Gear storylines. Originally, he was a dude in a bed, and then that dude died, and now his soul inhabits the bed he was in, and now his sister, I think, Delilah, is fucking damn near terrified of the fucking thing, but like also likes it because she must sense it's her brother or something. I don't fucking remember. It's really complicated, and Bedman's a really interesting character, just like lore-wise, just because of all that. And I love him in Ggst because of Yuri Lowenthal. It's fucking great. I think I might need to play Ggst. That shit's so funny to me. I don't know if I can buy the version with Yuri Lowenthal in it though. Either way, Bedman is a very complicated character that I see a lot of people mostly use as a zoner. It doesn't really make sense to me that why they would use Bedman as a zoner, but he seems very capable at very close range. His zoning capabilities just seem to be there just in case the opponent's running away from you and to build up some block pressure, if nothing else. Bedman is a pretty good character, I'd say, but very complicated, and I wouldn't recommend for newer players to the game. Overall, he's just kind of a decent character. He doesn't get used much because of how complicated he is. And every Bedman I've ever fought has kind of gone down pretty quick to Soul because they all try zoning and they don't really seem to know that Vortex seems to go under a lot of everything. So Soul's pretty good anti-zoner, except for like Axel. Mostly because Axel has a low projectile. And I guess Happy Chaos, but Happy Chaos for some reason has a hit scan gun, so you know that's a thing. Either way, that's not about them. Bedman is really cool. I have considered using Bedman a lot. I just think he's a really interesting character. I think he's more interesting in the Ggst, where he had an actual ban in the bed, and he was just an absolute shit talker. He was basically a Redditor. But yeah, other than that, I can't say too much about Bedman. I don't know much about Bedman. I just think he's cool. I like his character. I think he's one of the best characters in the game. Maybe not gameplay-wise, just like as a character I like. There's a nice video called Why Bedman is Peak Fiction on the channel. Sorry? No, not my channel. On YouTube. I might link the YouTube video in the description because it is one of my favorite Guilty Gear videos and it actually half inspired this video. So I'll probably link that. Go check it out. It's a really good video. It goes over Bedman. And he has another video that goes over Faust, so if you're interested in that, you can check out that video he made as well. Once again, I'll link that in the description. Thanks again, and yeah, that's Bedman. I guess we'll go to the next character. Okay, only 3 more characters left. We've got Asuka I think his last name is Cruz, but I'm just going to call him Asuka for the rest of this. Asuka, I believe, is the identity of Batman, I think. Once again, to show Guilty Gear lore is kind of strange, and explaining his lore, I need to explain the entirety of Guilty Gear lore again. I say again, like I've explained it before, I don't actually know enough about it to explain it. So I might just link a lore video in the description. You can learn about Asuka, or Batman, or whoever the fuck this guy ended up being. I don't actually remember. I think it was someone important. I'm pretty sure it was someone important. Either way, Minecraft Steve over here really likes to throw fucking cubes at people, and is pretty much dependent on RNG, except it's not RNG like Faust, because you can kind of cycle through it and you see what you have. You can use 4 ability. You have all 4 of your ability buttons, which will send out one of each corresponding little squares there above his little tension gauge, if you can't see, down on the bottom left. So if you figure out his buttons, frankly, you'll be fine. He's kind of an RNG character, except you kind of know what's coming and you can cycle moves in and out if you don't want a certain move. You just kind of have to do it mid-combo, otherwise you're going to get punished pretty hard for it. Overall, Asuka is actually a pretty fun character. He's very complicated though, and I would not recommend him for anyone who's just picked up the game or fighting games in general. Asuka is very difficult. I've considered playing Asuka more than once until I remembered that I'm absolutely terrible at any character that requires me to think for more than 3 seconds. So, you know, that it is what it is in that situation. But, no, really, Asuka is a very good character. I think he's very good. I think he's top tier for me. I do like him a lot. His theme, the gravity, is fine. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's definitely not one of my favorites. But overall, if you want to pick up Asuka, I say by all means, go ahead. Asuka's a very good character overall. I can't recommend him more. Asuka is just good. He's just a good, solid character. Not much to say on him, as he's fun. He's really unique. He is a very unique character. He might be the other unique character that we have, if there's only 3 of them, with being able to cycle through like his magic abilities. He's got his own mana bar, stuff like that. He's very nice. I haven't fought many Asukas, but I've seen some very good Asukas like in videos and Twitch streams and stuff. Asuka seems very scary when you know how to use him, especially this move, the cubes. There's a reason we call him Minecraft Steve, because he's just fucking Minecraft Steve. But either way, Asuka is a very good character. I can't recommend him for new players, but if you're looking for something a bit more complicated, then I'd say by all means grab Asuka. but I can't recommend buying him if you plan on just starting the game and buying a character. I would recommend someone like Bridget, like I said earlier. But if you're willing to put the time in and learn a complicated character because you want to be really good, then by all means, I'd say learn Asuka. Asuka is probably one of the most complicated characters in the game, and you would have my respect fully if you actually got very good with him. Johnny, the Outlaw, the leader of the Sky Pirates. Remember all the way back in part 1 when I mentioned this character with when I was doing maze stuff? Yeah, this is him. The second newest character in the entire game. Came out like 4 months ago, probably. Yeah, we're here now. It took him a long time to get here. Johnny is an outlaw, obviously, as he is a pirate. He stole an entire fleet of ships, the ones you can kind of see in the background of the fight now. And he, yeah, fun fact, I think he's based on Johnny Bravo. Because in his song, Just Lean, by the way, one of my favourite songs in the entire soundtrack, there's a line, I'll read it to you now. He says half the world is his love vow. It's a mess, but nobody thinks it's a joke. Whether it be a mother, sister, or a daughter, it doesn't matter. He doesn't talk about fake love. In other words, this man fucks. Like, layman's terms, he fucks, right? That's the best way I can put it. No, but Johnny's a good guy. From what I can tell, he, from lore and stuff, he picks, like, orphaned girls off, like, the street and says, look, join my Sky Pirate gang, and you'll have a place to stay, food, you don't have to, like, you'll be safe there. He's a good guy. He's just a bit of a fuckhead. 2 facts about Johnny. He genuinely believes that the happiness of all women lies on his shoulders, and he once told Ina to stop calling herself a witch because he wants to remove all derogatory terms regarding women. Even though Ina is literally a witch, she's not, like, calling herself that in a bad sense. She's, like, a literal witch. But Johnny doesn't know that, apparently. Another fun fact, Johnny has a monthly allowance that he gets from May. And one of the win quotes you get is Johnny, after that, like, intro quote, he says, you're going to give me my allowance, like, bonus, but I can't spend it. She basically gives him a boost in his allowance, but she just, like, puts it in savings or something, I guess, for him. Which is really funny. Little thing on May's crush on Johnny, it will never be more than a crush because Johnny sees her as a surrogate daughter. So, poor May, I guess. I guess let's actually discuss what you probably want to hear, gameplay. Johnny is a very fun character. I know I say that I've probably been saying this a lot recently, but Johnny is another character I've considered maining. Not just considered using, like fully maining. I actually really like the way Johnny plays. I think he's called a zoner. I don't know why, like this is another situation like Testament and whatever the fuck else I've said this for, and Bedman. Why? Why zoner? Well, I think he is in-game considered a zoner. Why? He has like one long-range move, it doesn't do damage, it's his fucking card. Well, I guess in his super as well, but it doesn't need to be long-range to hit. He can hit that point blank, so I don't know. Johnny is a character I would definitely recommend for newer players. He's a bit more complicated than some of the other beginners, but he's definitely still very good. I'm running out of clips, so I have to leave it here. But yeah, I'd recommend Johnny. Alright, and the final character, the newest character to be added to Ggst Drive, Elfelt Valentine. Yes, it's Elfelt, not Elfet. I thought it was Elfet too until I saw the extra L in Felt, and I was like, oh, it's Elfelt. Elfelt is a very fucking good character, a character I absolutely refuse to fight if you ever see me online. There's a reason I don't fight you if you run Elfet. It's because I have fun with the game until I fight an Elfet, then I get very sad and upset. So I try and avoid fighting Elfelt. No real hard feelings, I just don't like fighting her personally. I'm sure other people love fighting Elfelt and actually like either the challenge or just don't fight her that bad. Me personally, I just find her that hard to fight with. I have no problems if you want to use a character, by all means. I'm probably just not going to fight you, but I don't think you're really missing out on much. I'm not an amazing player or nothing, so don't worry too much about that. Elfelt has some very strong buttons, and I would highly recommend her to new players. She's very good, very simple, and she can carry you through a lot of the early floors. Hell, you can probably make it to fucking floor at least 6 just by using a single combo. Granted, that kind of goes to every character, I guess. It's just blocking becomes a bit more prevalent later on, so just bear that in mind. Overall, though, design-wise and like aesthetic and moves, I actually really do like Elfelt. I think she's cute. She's adorable. Like her moves are awesome. honestly, one of the best characters animation-wise I think they've released, like, in a while. I think she's really cool. She was released, like, the week after I started playing, and all I see online now is Elfelt. Don't get me wrong, I see every other character as well a little bit, but Elfelt is definitely a character I see a lot of, which is really funny, considering I don't even think she's played that much of a major role in the story. I think she's always been a comic character, like a comedic type thing, but there's no problem with that. Not at all. But yeah, not much to say on Elfelt. She's still very new, all things considered. It's only been like a month since her release. I think she came out December, and yeah, so it's only been about a month since her release. Overall, though, she's cool. I don't hate Elfelt. I don't know. I just don't like fighting her, personally. That's just me, though. Overall, though, I would definitely recommend spending money on Elfelt. She's a very good character. If you're fine with, seeing your opponent in the corner and not being able to do anything, which most people probably are, then I'd recommend playing her a lot. Elfelt's cool. I don't know much about her in the lore. I think she was, like, trying to get everyone to marry her at one point, and now she's had, like, a bit of a swap up. Now she's like a rocket chick, which is kind of funny. As I said, she's a comedic character. I don't think she was ever meant to be taken fully seriously. And one of her moves, she falls over. She trips and she hits you with the gun. That is one of her moves, and it's so funny. But anyway, that's it for the character section. We're finally done. So thanks for sitting through the character section. I know one of these parts was pretty much all dedicated to characters. I apologize. This was all going to be one video until the PlayStation editor fucked me over. But yeah. I'll see you in the next part. Alright, now that we've sat through the character section, time for the final part of the video, me explaining why I love Guilty Gear, and specifically Guilty Gear Strive, so much. First, from a gameplay perspective, I genuinely believe it is one of the most fun fighting games I have ever played. Now, I know I have said that I've only really ever played Mortal Kombat a little bit, Injustice and Injustice 2, when those were sort of relevant, and I played the Demon Slayer fighting game as well. So, and I played My Heroes Wants Justice as well. That's my fighting game experience. So I haven't played many traditional fighters. So, while I'm sure you understand the title is semi-clickbait, while I genuinely believe Guilty Gear is probably, from what I've seen, the best fighting game, I understand, and I hope you understand, that it is semi-ironic that I say it's peak gaming, because that means like the best game ever, right? And I don't think that. It's not my favorite game. But I do think it is a very good game, and it deserves the spot it has as probably my top 5 favorite games of all time. Does it beat things like Persona, Titanfall, or even Ghost of Tsushima? No, I wouldn't say so. But it's definitely maybe number 4, number 5. Maybe Elden Ring takes number 4. I'm not too sure. But yeah, just as a story, from what I know of it, I will be looking more into it in general. But like from what I know of the story, even just like from like Ggst and like the originals and stuff, it's a very good story. Like fighting games are usually like very hectic stories, and sometimes not that good. And fighting game logic is kind of weird. However, Guilty Gear's story is, from what I've seen, just like the little bits of it, genuinely one of the best like stories, like fighting game stories I think I've ever seen. Like, yeah, Mortal Kombat stories there, but I don't know, I don't see much in Mortal Kombat stories, just kind of like fight because fight good. You know what I mean? Injustice's story is actually pretty good, but it's kind of cheating because it's based on a comic series, so that's kind of cheating, I think, personally. And Demon Slayer's story and My Heroes Wants Justice story is just based on the anime they're from, so once again, cheating. For me. But Guilty Gear's story is so much more. Each character has layers and layers of depth, and so much to them. It's just fucking amazing. From a gameplay standpoint, as I said, I don't play many traditional fighters. I might start, now that I'm into Guilty Gear, I might actually try some more traditional fighters. If Grand Blue Versus gets on PlayStation 5, I might try and play that, because I've heard good things about that game. I might try Tekken, I might try Street Fighter out a little bit, now that I understand how those games work. I'm a bit more willing to give them a shot. You know, roaming cancels are awesome. The fucking moves are great. I love the characters in Guilty Gear. Like, there's not a single one I can say I dislike. Just like as a character, maybe not like playable or anything. I love all of them. Like, the little bits I know from everyone's lore is awesome. The characters, like, interactions in the story, from what I've seen, once again, are all good. Like, it all makes sense to me. Nothing will beat when Kai figured out that Sol was basically his, what was it? His father-in-law, because by technicality, Dizzy is Sol's daughter, which makes Sin his grandchild, which makes Kai his son-in-law, which is really funny to me. I love that scene. You know, it's just full of comedy scenes. It doesn't take itself seriously when it doesn't need to, and then when it needs to take itself seriously, it will, which I think is a very important thing. Overall, I think Guilty Gear is a great game, and if you haven't tried it yet, you really need to. I think it is a fucking solid-ass game, and if you haven't tried it yet and you like fighting games, even if you don't like fighting games, or even if you don't know if you like fighting games yet, I'd start with Guilty Gear. Is it the most advanced fighting game out there? No. All things considered, I think it is also kind of simple, but that, I think, lends to its favour, you know? Fighting games don't need to have a million different mechanics to be amazing. They can just have one thing that makes it great. In Guilty Gear's case, it has a lot of things that make it great, right? But if you like story, Guilty Gear's lore will keep you captivated, I'm sure. If you like fighting games gameplay, Guilty Gear mightn't have the most complex combo system. They did slim it down quite a lot in Strive, especially to make it a bit more accessible for people. But even other Guilty Gear games have, like, more complex combo systems. I've been thinking about buying Ggst and trying it because I know Ggst still has a fairly active fan base. Sure, it'll be laggy, but there's not much I can do about it. I put up with it in Strive. As I stated back in part 1, if you do know a server that's less laggy for Oceania than Japan, then let me know. If Japan's the best I can get, then I might just need to try and improve my internet as much as I can to make it so it's not as laggy. But either way, I think we'll roll outro, sorry, now. I've explained sort of what I wanted to, and how much I love this game, and the music and everything, and how it's helped me in certain ways. I won't go into that, that's all pretty personal. But that's about it. See ya. Alright, thank you very much for sitting through all that video. It's definitely a long video for me, just I'm going to play some arcade while we talk here. It's a bit complicated to play while I talk, so I just stay with the gameplay, I guess. But you know, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave it a like and subscribe. I don't plan on doing these videos all the time or anything, but they are definitely a video type I kind of actually enjoy doing, which is a sort of a shock for me. I didn't expect to like it nearly as much as I thought I would. So it's good to know that I can do these videos and still feel fun. Like, it didn't fatigue me at all for doing videos. I got it done in a couple days, and I had fun getting everything I needed to for Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear is a great game. If you haven't played it, I would 100% recommend buying it. I don't know if it's on sale at the moment. I got it when it was on sale. It's 100% worth your time. If you love fighting games and you haven't tried Strive yet, you really need to get on this thing. Like, if you play Mortal Kombat, if you play Street Fighter, if you play Tekken, or anything like that, give this game a shot. Like, even if you plan on playing the new, like, Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash game, try this Guilty Gear, right? It's an anime style, so, you know, you're not going too far from what you've probably been marketed towards. And I think you'll end up enjoying it. It's definitely nothing like Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash in the way it works, but, you know, it's there. And I think it's an option that you should try. I feel fighting games in general are kind of overlooked as a genre, just because they, like, seem hard to get into and stuff. Take it from someone whose only fighting game experience before this was Injustice as a kid, and then playing the Demon Slayer fighting game, two very different fighters to Guilty Gear, who is now floor 8 only after 80 hours, which to my knowledge is actually pretty decent. So, you know, it's not impossible to get good at a fighting game, it just takes time and effort. But if you're willing to put in the effort and stuff, it's a good feeling when you get good at it, you know? It might suck when you go down floors every now and again, but just set yourself a goal. I set myself the goal of getting to floor 8, and I accomplished it within like, a month. And I think I do pretty well now playing the game. You know, I've learnt quite a lot from other soulmates. That's another thing, if you start playing the game, don't be afraid to mirror match. You can probably learn a lot from mirror matches, actually. I sure as shit have. So, other than all that, that pretty much concludes it. If you're wondering why the audio quality changed, again, it's because some of this was recorded with a post-commentary, some of it was recorded while I was actually playing the game. So if the audio jumps a little bit, that's why. I do apologize for that. But no, other than that, I genuinely think that's all I want to say on Guilty Gear. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please subscribe. I don't do videos like this often, but maybe I'll start doing them a bit more. And that's about it. I'll see you later.
Smell